Today's video is going to be on this beautiful unit I got from SHEIN. This is a 200 density 13x4 transparent Swiss lace, and this is the selection P4/27. I did get it in a 30-inch, but it's not 30-inch length around the whole wig. It's literally only 30 inches in the back. I do think this wig was meant to like do a side part and a bang, so it's cut like that, short in the front. And if you go check out the link for the listing of this hair, you'll see what I mean. But this hair was gorgeous. This video is primarily just going to be focused on baby hairs, so I'm kind of just giving you a run through of what the wig looks like. I did bleach the knots. They weren't terrible, but did need some zhuzhing, which I did. And then I am going to be plucking the lace throughout this video. So here it is installed. I did shampoo and condition it. It was Bodywave, and then I put some BioSilk in there and just straightened it bone straight. So getting right into the baby hairs, I'm going to start with the ear piece first. On my left side, I do like to do a diagonal part. This thickness here would be something more dramatic, but I'm going to do them just a tad bit thinner, just take a little bit out of the hair off of that part that I did, because I do want them dramatic but not as dramatic. And then you can see I'm going to tuck it behind my ear, and that is going to be the first section for baby hairs separated out. This little piece here I did end up yanking out. It just wasn't necessary. I didn't do it here, but I did do it later in the video. And then now the second part that we're going to part out, I'm going to use like a parentheses shape. Sometimes I do two sections of baby hairs here, but I kind of just wanted one really big one. I didn't want to do too much. So right here, I'm just kind of sectioning it out, getting a feel for what I want, the size and the swoop and the length, you know, just basically mapping it out. I didn't do the part as straight as I would like initially, but you'll see that I do go in and like get that one uneven part at the top to make sure it's like a complete like parenthesis shape, if that makes sense. So this is more or less what they look like section out. You can see the diagonal shape. I did stop the video here and rip that little piece out. It was driving me crazy. But moving on, we're going in with a wax stick, and I'm going to put it on the sections that I parted out for baby hairs and also on the rest of the hair to push that back out the way. Wax stick helps with baby hairs, and when I go in with the hot comb, it just further reinforces that separation between, you know, me separating out where the baby hairs are going to be. I hope I'm making sense. But be careful when you're doing this part. I like using the flat iron for this part because I feel like it just melts down the wig even more after putting on all that glue, but it also holds these sections that are gonna turn into baby hairs down. You can see that part back there where my ear is, it's not stick straight, like how I'm holding it. It kind of was like going back towards my ear. So using the hot comb, you can see it's like more straight, and it's basically gonna give us like a nice lay when I go to do the swoops for my baby hairs. Now it's time to cut. You can also tweeze at this step too, but I honestly like to tweeze as I'm swooping so I can see what I do want, what I don't want. It's always easy to like underdo it and fix it, then overdo it and then be stuck. So I'm gonna cut these in a diagonal. I kind of do like a staggered motion. So I start at the top shorter, and then I kind of drag the scissors up and down really fast to get like a, I don't know, would it be ombre? Would that be like the term for this? But you see how like the top towards my eyebrow is shorter and where I'm cutting is longer? That's kind of the vibe you want. And then these sideburns, I do want a lot of a curl at the end. So I'm cutting these a little bit longer than I typically would because I really want a full circle swoop. And you'll see what I mean as I get to swooping them. But basically this is what they look like. I went off camera to do the other side. I promise you, if you're a beginner, please invest in a baby flat iron. This is like foolproof. So what you're gonna do, you can either curl them into your face or curl it up. I've done it both ways. You still get the same effect, but you're basically going to curl your baby hairs with this flat iron, and while it's warm, use your hand. You can see like right here, I'm kind of like flipping it in the way I'm going to swoop it. This is your template for baby hair. So if you're not good at like swoops, this is going to help you get that swoop. I promise you, you'll only have to put product on it and then guide it with like your baby hair brush, and like you're gonna get the perfect edges every time doing it this way. So like I said, the sideburns I did really long, longer than I typically would, which is fine. Just continue to like twist it and bend it, and as it cools, as the hair cools from the flat iron, it will lay in the way you want it. So this is everything curled, and look at the piece by my ear. You see how it's curled like that? That's exactly how it's going to lay. The flat iron did all the hard work. The baby hairs, I use this black bottle of Got2b gel. I promise you, you need this. And I also use a little bit of mousse, but the two of them combined creates wonderful things. I'm going in with a small amount, nothing crazy, and I'm basically putting it on the root of the baby hairs. I'm not putting the product on all my baby hairs, because when I go in with my edge brush to swoop it, it is going to automatically rub the product down throughout the hairs, and you don't want to overdo it with too much product. But you're basically going to start off slow. You can see obviously that's way too thick. So this is the part where I go in with tweezers. I know my hand is in the way, but you get the idea. So here you're just going to go in with tweezers. You're going to pluck some. You're going to remove the hairs. You can part it down in half. You can tweeze the section. You can part in between these baby hairs, and then that tail end, you're gonna go ahead and also cut it off so it's not as long, and you're able to like easily blend it into the rest of the hair. I hope that makes sense. Just watch and see what I'm doing, and I promise you, like this, it's literally so easy. Conveniently, my camera cut off, but I'm gonna show you the other side, so don't worry. But you see how you can kind of see a little bit of space in between like where this parts is. You want that so it looks natural, and that's from tweezing it. Don't do too much, just do a little bit. And then I'm gonna add in a little mousse, and the mousse is just basically gonna mold the hairs. Anything that was too short, flyaways, is gonna keep everything together. So for the sideburns now, I'm going back in with more of that Got2b gel, and again, just putting it at the root. And this part, I'm going to swoop. I'm going to swoop. And you see how the hair is kind of already in that curl shape? This is the power of the baby flat iron. So when you go to swoop this thing, it's literally going to lay how you want it, because it's like literally already curled. The rest of the process of this is just putting the mousse on it and the Got2b gel to mold it. And this is also going to add extra adhesion on your lace. And then you're going to curl it, use the mousse. You want to saturate it enough so that the hair is wet and it'll stick with the Got2b, and then the mousse is going to be like the liquid to like combine the two, and then when it dries, you'll get that full circle curl. I really hope this makes sense. Just be patient with it. But you see how I have my circle? That's from the mousse. You have to put enough mousse so it's like saturated enough to hold in that shape until it dries. Once it dries, it'll stay like that. And then in combination with the Got2b gel, it's going to give it a nice hold so it'll keep the shape. But hopefully now that you see it, you get kind of like the gist of what I'm saying and instructing you to do. So I'm just gonna dabble like an ample amount of the mousse right on the ends of that hair, and then let it dry, and it'll stay like that like for a good amount of time. All right, on to the other side now. I'm gonna show you the top since I cut out on the other side when I was doing it. I hope you can see. I know my hand is in the way, but the steps are still the same. You're going to go in with Got To Be. Obviously, this side was curled by the flat iron too, as you can see. You're going to go in with the Got To Be on the base, on the root. And then as you brush it with the edge brush, it is going to bring it down into the rest of the hairs. Now you can see, obviously, these pieces here are too long. So I'm cutting as I'm going, and I'm still doing like that staggered motion. So it's not like a blunt cut, and it'll lay into the rest of the hair flat. And this is just a continuous process of going in with the Got To Be, using the edge brush and using mousse to like swoop the baby hairs in the shape and the formation that you like, and also making sure that you're blending it seamlessly into the rest of the hair. I also realized that I did cut these hairs a little bit shorter than the other side. Like the other side was a little bit more dramatic. You can see it right here. Like this is the moment of realization. But I was like, you know what? I'm that girl. It doesn't matter because I can completely pull this off. And the only way you can tell is if you really in my face, like really analyzing both sides, because it took me a minute to realize. But just continue swooping it back in there. I tweezed that side. This side, I end up having to go back in and tweeze it later in the video. I didn't tweeze it right here because I kind of just wanted to get the formation of both baby hairs to match as much on both sides as I could. I don't know about you guys, but I have a favorite side, and this is my favorite side, and this came out the best out of the two sides. But the other side came out pretty decently. Overall, I like it both. It's just, again, you can obviously tell the other side, the hairs are a little bit more longer and dramatic, but it's fine. So now I'm gonna go in with a hot comb. I'm just gonna continue to kind of rake everything back. I may or may not wear it like this, or I may or may not style it. I have this really cute idea I want to do in my head. I'm thinking of doing a YouTube Shorts reel on that video, on that portion of just me styling it, but we'll see how it goes. I might get lazy and just want to leave it like this. But basically, this is the end. This is what it looks like. I am so in love. I did so well. This lace is melted, okay, period. So now, last step, we're gonna touch up that part, and I'm just going in with like a highlighter shade of concealer. It's a little bit lighter than me. It's usually what I use to highlight when I'm doing my makeup. And I'm just taking this brush and I'm just running a little bit of that through the part, because the part kind of looked like a honey blonde instead of like scalp. And you want that part to look like scalp. So I'm just taking a little bit, nothing too crazy, and I'm just basically cleaning it up so that part looks sharp and more scalp-like. I would also like to add a quick disclaimer while I do this. I had on lashes and I had to take them off because I had an allergic reaction to dust. I literally just moved into this place and my allergies been going crazy, so I look like Angry Bird. Not to mention I just got my eyebrows microbladed 2 weeks ago, so it literally looks like I have no lashes and I look so crazy, so I'm sorry. And this is basically the finished look. I'm definitely feeling myself. The little tuck behind the ear. Yes, girl, eat it up. You see the material. Go ahead, like this video, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Drop a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.